All the sacrifices and the sleepless nights, will they serve me well? Only time will tell. I just keep on praying that I'll find my way if I go through hell. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. All the sacrifices and the sleepless nights, will they serve me well? Only time will tell. I just keep on praying that I'll find my way if I go through hell. Only time will tell.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pass the Peas podcast with your boy Dante. We here with another one, man. Today we're going to talk about programming and how this happens to us. So programming, what do I mean programming? Generally people think of programming as like things we see on TV or the things we hear in our music. But I think that's kind of, just trying to be like on some mind control stuff. But the real program, I'm talking about the real programming and when it happens in our lives. And that's when you're a kid, man, when you're young, when you're not even born yet, when your mom is like 6 months pregnant is when the programming begins. For the most part. What they say is 3 months prior to birth, the child's brain kind of like boots up, if you will, And I would imagine this is why you see people talking to the stomach or reading the kids books, reading books to the woman's belly while she's pregnant, because the baby is developing then and their mind is developing. So, the baby starts to download information from that point. So from birth until 7 years old, that's all us as human beings do is download information. We just learn things, right? We subconsciously learn things. How to walk, how to crawl first, then we walk. How to talk, this is things that your brain works on from the day you're born and develops the how to, or develops the way to do that, right? It learns how to tell your legs to hold your body up or whatever, subconsciously. Now, the conscious mind is the creative mind, and that comes later. That brings your personality, your wishes, your desires. All of this stuff comes after 7, right? So before 7, it's just loading your mind, your subconscious mind, with everything that you're around, everything that you see, everything that you hear. Your parents say, your brothers, sisters say, whatever your parents let you watch on the tablet. All of these things are just subconsciously downloaded in your brain, and you don't know it. And this is what develops these personality traits after 7. Let's call it after 7. These personality traits come out because they're like programmed in you, right? So let's say, for example, you tell your 9-year-old self you want to be the greatest basketball player ever, right? And you want this. This is your wishes and your desires. This is what you want, right? But then all of a sudden, your subconscious mind takes over, and whatever you have been programmed to think about yourself, about your abilities, about your opportunities, whatever, that will take over, right? So then somebody will say something like, "Oh, you poor, you would never be able to go to college." Or you hear these things around your household that's discouraging. But I don't even know if you knew they were discouraging. You just heard negativity a lot, right? So that's how you end up thinking and feeling, because like I've been referencing, the brain is a computer. And you can't use your brain unless you download something. Just like you can't use a computer unless you download a program, right? You got to download Windows or some kind of program, an operating system, in order to tell the computer how to operate, the things you want to be able to do on this computer, whatever. Same thing with your brain, right? Somebody has programmed you, us, me, everybody has been programmed with some kind of ideology, some kind of religion, sexual orientation, just way of life, belief system. And what we do, we call it, this is just how I was raised. We like to say, that's just how I was raised. You know, I get it from my daddy. I get it from my mama. But then, like, when you sit back and look at why you in the situation you in, I think it's important that people understand this, because the program that they operate within is either taking them places or it's holding them back. So I think it's important that we learn how to control the narrative, man. Because when you're a child, man, everybody's hurt. Everybody's heard this. A child's mind is like a sponge. They soaking up everything, right? That's the truth. Downloading everything. Just downloading it. Just think of it like that. Motherfucker just download all this information. Just all the time. And then 95% of the day, 95% of people, I meant to say 95% of people use 95% of their subconscious mind every day. Their habit mind. They go into their subconscious and seek the program that they've downloaded. Instead of, they say only 5% of us use our conscious mind, our creative mind. They say a conscious mind, when a conscious, if you sit there and use your conscious mind to think of something, your wishes, your dreams, your desires, what you want, you know what I mean? How you want to be, how you want to present yourself in the world, you know what I mean? You sit there and you imagine these things. I don't know how to say it, because the way the way I heard it was, and then you think about these things, and automatically, like a switch that's hit soon as you start thinking, your subconscious mind takes over. And it's hard for people to block, or I don't think you can block that subconscious mind. What you have to do is reprogram yourself. So a person be like, man, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna do what I need to do, man. I'm gonna change my ways. And they think about it. Like, what can I do to change? How can I change? And then their subconscious mind takes over, and then they right back to doing what they was doing yesterday. You know? And it's because they've been programmed to do that. Whether it's talk themselves out of something, settle for less, or go for it all, put it all on the line, risk it all. It's what you programmed with. It's how you're brought up. It's the environment you're in. So I always think about, I always try to put it into perspective, right? Into my perspective. How do I understand this? Make it make sense to me, right? So I just think about the environment that I was in at 5 years old, because I can remember that. And it was pretty crazy, man. It was pretty crazy. And to think that everything I thought I knew about life was instilled in me back then. And I just been playing that program out. It's deep to me, man. That's deep, man. Because I thought I was trying to live this life where I would progress and do things one way, but not knowing that my subconscious mind is the thing that's talking me out of everything, because like I feel like the lack of confidence, one, that was instilled in me, holds me back a lot. And it'll be that situation where like a lot of people will say a certain thing about me, right? But I don't see that. I don't see that thing. I see something totally different. But people act as if I'm like cool as a fan or whatever, right? And I might be like, yeah, you weird, bro. I ain't all that or whatever. Let's just say it was like that. Like everybody can see it. When I walk in the room, people like, oh, that's my nigga. But I'm like, bro, why you walking up on me? Like, man, that's weird, bro. People weird. And I just keep rejecting that, right? I can't see that. I'm cool, bro. I'm him or whatever. Let me give you a better example. So a guy, you've been best friends with a guy, and that's your boy, right? You meet his dad, And you be like, damn, that's crazy. They act the same, right? So you tell him like, hey, bro, you act just like your dad. And he get mad at the situation. Bro, no, I don't. I ain't nothing like my dad, whatever. It's like everybody can see that he just like his dad, but him. Like, why is that? Why can't he see it? Because he can't see his own program. He blinded by his program. He don't know that he can't keep a relationship because his dad couldn't keep a relationship, and he learned that from him. Or he don't know that he got bad money practices because his mom used to blow money all the time, and that's where he learned that from. Or he got poor hygiene habits because that wasn't a priority when he was downloading information. You know, like, or certain resources wasn't there. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different ball game going on in everybody's mind. Everybody playing a whole different game. Everybody is downloaded a certain way. That's how you see. You'll wonder, like, man, it's all kinds of things. If you put it into perspective, you will wonder. I mean, you will see how this shit is playing out like that, or you'll understand why it played out like that. Like, oh, you know what I mean? That makes sense. Like, you would think of a 6-year-old genius, right? And if you do the like background, the mom is a librarian and the dad is a science teacher or something, right? So for these whole 6 years, this little 6-year-old has been downloading some of the top information that they possibly could. Now, once they beginning to use that information, they way ahead of the game. Then you could flip it and see a 6-year-old smoking. Now they done downloaded a whole different set of programs, way of doing things, way of thinking, swag, whatever you want to call it. Like it's a whole different operating system that gives this kid knowledge to be twerking at such a young age, or smoking at such a young age, or fucking cracking safes at such a young age. Like, it's how you are programmed. That's how you get the 10-year-old basketball phenom, because this whole 10 years he just been downloading information about basketball and doing this and doing that and doing it and playing at a high level with it. You know what I mean? It's programmed. And it's at some point, if your conscious mind and your subconscious mind is on the same level, then your conscious mind is operating on autopilot. Now you don't have to worry about your subconscious mind coming in and raining on your parade. You can sit there and look at things and say, that's the way they gonna be. But until you reprogram yourself, right? Until you get that 95% to flip to that 5% and start operating with your conscious mind and reprogram your subconscious mind, then you you'll be operating at the highest level at that point. See, when you operating from your conscious mind, you ain't got to think about things. Ain't no thinking. You just living at that point. You know what I'm saying? And the best example I can give for this is like love, falling in love. So you fall in love, right? That's from your conscious mind, your wants, your wishes, your desires. You want love. Everybody wants love. So when you fall in love, you found love. You got what you wanted, right? Now you ain't about to waste time thinking and going into your mind and blue. You gonna pay attention. You gonna serenade. You gonna overindulge in this person, right? Because you in love with this person. Y'all got the honeymoon phase. That's what they call it. Everything is about this person. You're here. You're open. You see them. You're listening. Boom. Ain't no thinking. You don't want to waste time thinking and shit. You want to be in the moment, right? That's how people should operate. And everything. I guess maybe pick things that you love. This is how I've experienced it. Like I've been on a basketball court and bombed straight up, just been out there and looked like a straight up garbage bag, just trash, just unbelievably terrible, right? And it's because I couldn't get out of my mind, man. I was thinking, overthinking, thinking too hard instead of fucking playing the game, right? And something in me told myself to just play the game. At some point, 16, 17, somewhere around there, something in my mind just clicked. I said, bro, let's stop thinking about it and just play. And once I stopped getting in my way in my mind, it was dominant out there. And I always used to think like, damn, if I would have been out of my mind when I was like still in high school, I would have, but I was just not confident, just so afraid of what people thought or would think of me. And I held myself back. You know what I mean? And that's because I was programmed to think less of myself, I guess. But like I said, over time, I began to like walk in this confidence. Like, I am who I am, right? But still, I let my mind get to me. And I talk myself out of a whole lot of stuff, a lot. Because I say, what are they going to think? I think we all do that. I think we be worried about what people are going to think of us. And that's because of our program. What we've been programmed to think of ourselves. And then you have the nerve to think a little highly of yourself. And then you're like, well, you know who you are. And talk yourself right out of it. Anyway, thinking takes you back to the program. I think it's important. Look at that. I said, think. I'm thinking. So I'm going back to the program. See, I'm trying to consciously catch that shit and fix it, reverse it. You know what I mean? But what you gotta do is just reprogram yourself and get your conscious and your subconscious aligned. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, so you ever experience driving down the street, you driving, boom. Maybe it's a song on, you get into that song, you fall into the song, or whatever. All of a sudden, you snap back to it. Like, all of a sudden, it seemed like you just start paying attention again. You're like, what the? Damn, I've been driving. I ain't even looked at the road. That's crazy. Like, because that's your subconscious mind on autopilot. It's going to do that for you. Automatic. You got to get that part of your brain to operate with the conscious part of your brain and get them to go together. That way you thinking how you feeling. You know what I mean? So you can feel rich. Oh, I want to be rich. You got desires to be with rich, all this, but you thinking small. You thinking small when you need to think big, bitch. You see what I'm saying? Anyway. Yeah, man. So the programming that we are in was ruling our society. And we're being the things are just rolling in like never before nowadays. Anyway, because once you program somebody from one certain age group, and then after that, you got social media and all the manipulation that come with all of that. I mean, at some point, it's going to be hard to reverse these programs, because from 0 to 7, they're programmed, right? And then from 7 to 14, they scrolling on whatever, YouTube or something, and being manipulated that way. And then from 14 to 21, they're just working out how they're going to be who they're going to be. They already who they are at that point. And they're just working out how they're going to present that to the world. That's what's happening from that point. And they even deeper in the social media aspect of it. Now they seasoned with, it used to be a time where you ain't get hip to that type of shit until you was a teenager. Now, by the time you're a teenager, you're completely fluent in that. You're so seasoned in online shit. It's amazing. That's how these teens be outshining people my age now. Like, they know how to do all kinds of shit on here. And I'm stuck with the little basics. You know what I mean? So imagine the programming that's happening now. Like, it's going to be hard to reverse. Harder to reverse, because it's more things. It's more things now. There's more things now. Like, there's just a lot more things going on in the household that children are experiencing. And I know it was a lot, it was a lot going on in the household when I was coming up. So I just imagine the type of shit that's going on now. But I'm speaking of things that wasn't acceptable back then, but now are acceptable. Yeah, man. It's deep, man. Like I said, the only answer I really got is to purposely focus on reprogramming yourself. I mean, don't get me wrong, all programming ain't bad. But the problem is you might be programmed with somebody's ideologies and somebody's way of thinking that don't fit you. So you walking around living this person's life. That's not who you were supposed to be. That's not how you think. But that's how you subconsciously act and think. Even though you're saying one thing. And if you can check that and reprogram that, your life will change for you, man. You'll begin to see a better outcome, I think, and we'll get what we want out of life if we was living the life that we want, but we not. We live in somebody else's. We've been programmed with somebody else's way of living. That's how, like, it bleeds off. Like you heard me say something about basketball several different times. So then when I had a son, what do you think I was trying to bleed basketball into him? This is what you do. Basketball, basketball, basketball. That's my way of doing things. And guess what he said? Him and his mom or somebody comes and says he wants to play football. I never even thought of football, not my thing, right? I'm like, why would you want to do that? Whatever. Let him, that's his thing. Football, not basketball. He didn't have to grow up living out my life. You know what I mean? He did his thing. When I was coming up, my thing was my thing. I think it's important that people develop their own things instead of, this is how young girls end up strippers like they mom or something. Like, because that's been bled on them. Their mom could have been a stripper, but then could have also put other values into them so that they didn't become a stripper. You know what I mean? I think. I don't know. Just rambling at this point. But if we all just purposely focus on the way we think and try to check that keep it real with yourself. Check it if it's coming off a way that you don't really want it to. And listen to people. Sometimes people be like, bro, you ain't heard what you said. And you be like, what I do wrong? And they be trying to tell you, but you ain't hearing it because you ain't see it like that. Because your program is different. And if you ain't gonna never recognize that, then you just gonna have trouble all the time. And wonder why and play victim and be like, man, why me? Always me. I can't do, because you can't see that you the problem. Just gotta sometimes step outside of yourself, look at yourself, keep it real with yourself, bro. That's it. Yeah, keep it real with yourself, man. And understand the program and understand how you programming people. You out there, you got little babies, you're programming them every day. I didn't understand that. I got grown kids now. Back when they was babies, I didn't understand what I was doing was programming them. But I knew I had to show them the right way of doing things in life, just to operate in life. I never tried to, maybe I did program them. I try to show them that, family is everything, and you work out conflict, and you whatever. I don't know. Maybe all my actions did something, because I do have some great kids. You know what I mean? Like, my kids, damn near flawless. But did I program them to be that way? Or me and their mother? Did me and my wife program them to do it like that? And if so, maybe. But it's important to know what you did and know the things, because people be like, I don't know why little such and such did that. He wasn't raised like that. But like, he probably was. You know what I mean? You just don't want to take that blame. Oh man, here we go. All right. Well, that was another one, man. Thank you for tuning in to the Pass the Peas podcast, bro. Appreciate you. It's your boy, Dante, man. I'll holler at you next time. Peace.
Sacrifices and the sleepless nights, will they serve me well? Only time will tell. I just keep on praying that I'll find my way if I go through hell. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. All the sacrifices and the sleepless nights, will they serve me well? Only time will tell. I just keep on praying that I'll find my way if I go through hell. Only time will tell. Only time will tell.